Thanks for joining us for this edition of Mastering BakeSmart. If I lose audio again, Ari or Heather, can you just raise your hand so I know, please? Thank you. Okay. Real excited for this one. Sorry we're running late here. I forgot how to use a computer. That one's on me. But excited to be here today. Excited to show some things that we've been working very hard on here for the last several months, actually. A little bit of backstory. I think you're all somewhat familiar with our activities here. We have been around for over 20 years. On-premise software for much of that time, launched a little over a year ago into the cloud, right about a year ago, actually. And have been very excited about it. In the move from the cloud, from Classic to the cloud, we did some trimming. We did some consolidating of features and functions. Over time, things tend to sprout out. They branch off into various areas. So we had our products, we had custom products, we had combo products, we had custom pre-selected products. We had catalog items that could have products, that could have custom products, that could have custom pre-selected products. I mean, it was all over the place. Some things did some things, some didn't. We had the cake matrix. Sometimes you didn't use the cake matrix. It was a mess. So we cleaned all that up and brought that to the cloud. We simplified that down. We got rid of the catalog altogether. We simplified it down to custom products, which could then create signature products. We had bundles, which could do lots of great things, and standard products as well. As we brought on more bakeries whose sort of way of ordering and rules were accommodated by these new features we had and these more simplified flows, we found that there were some limitations. So we began the process of collecting data, iterating, planning, and building, and so what we've got here, internally we called Productsv2. Really, it's just another iteration and continuation of just our desire to always learn and make ordering easier for your staff and for your customers while respecting sometimes ever evolving and more complicated business logic. What I'm excited about today is that it's rare that you get to both add structure and increase flexibility with software, and I think we've accomplished both of those with this, and I'm real excited to show it to you. This is going to be I'm going to do this it's going to be a tale in three parts. We're going to put 3 orders through today, all focused around the month of May, which is coming up. We're going to do a Mother's Day order, we're going to do a graduation order, and we're going to do a wedding. And through those 3 different orders, we'll be able to show a lot of the improvements and features that we made. Once we're done with that, we're going to pop the hood and kind of show you what's underneath all of that. And obviously, questions anytime. And we'll get started. So here, let me share my screen. Where'd you guys all go? Every time you leave me. Can you guys see my screen? Order pickup. Okay. Sorry, I don't have a ton of sample data in here to make it look like you would see it, but here we are. So Mother's Day order is where we're going to start things off. This is going to be a customer either in the bakery, calling the bakery. I, for one, am responsible for 3 moms on Mother's Day. I've got 3 kids. I'm real busy. So if I can buy that happiness, I will. So I call the bakery. Hey, my name's Mike. I'd like to place an order for Mother's Day. So they'll start a new order. What's your last name? Clements. There you are. Are you going to pick this up? Yeah, I'll come pick it up. Where at? I'm downtown. Great. Can I pick that up on Mother's Day? No, actually, we're closed on Sundays, but you can come pick it up on the 9th. We're open till 8. Great. I'll be by around 5. Next. So if I do a search, oh, here we got Mother's Day right here. So click on Mother's Day. Hey, we've got a Mother's Day brunch bundle. It's a cake and a quiche. That takes care of sweet and savory for the moms in your life. So if I click on that brunch bundle, this is one of our bundled products. I can see that I have 3 different custom cakes available to me here, or signature cakes. So I can choose between the garden cake, the roses, or the swirls. Hey, my wife loves roses. That's great. So I choose that. Then I can choose the size, right? So I've got a 6, 8, 10 available here. We have little icons here that show how many it serves. I'm going to do the 8-inch serves 15. You know, there's only going to be 8 of us. Multiplied by dad. Want to have some leftovers for the day after for breakfast. So we're going to do that. The frosting's preset, right? It's a buttercream design here, so that's not editable on this cake as defined by the bakery's rules. But I can choose the flavor, funfetti, say no more, filling, buttercream, and then I'm going to add this cake to that order. My next selection, see, I can't click add to order here yet. My next selection is to choose my quiche. So I can do a spinach artichoke or ham, very simple. I'm going to do spinach artichoke. My wife loves roses and vegetables. And if I want to have an inscription, I'm not going to do an inscription. I'll just leave it as is. So add order. Right. So what's different in that order? I'm not going to go through the process of paying for it and the payment requests and all that stuff. You guys have all seen that before. What was different in that is when we originally launched this, we couldn't fit a signature product into a bundle. It was just like one level too many of iteration. So what you saw there, going back to add this again, was not only do I have a product of a bundle where I'm choosing this product, the cake, and this product, the quiche, but within the cake selection, I've got separate products that also have separate components here, right? Different sizes. And then within that, I'm making selections. Really sophisticated, but also very simple. I'm going through one flow to place that order. So we're real excited about that. So that's Mother's Day. Done. Who's a hero? What's next? Graduation. Okay. So graduation's coming up. This time I'm gonna take this order online. Okay, so for e-commerce order being placed directly by the customer, no bakery staff interaction. Let's just say the parent's stuck at a track meet, which I learned lasts forever. Didn't know that. Track meets never end. So remember that. So here we go. Graduation here. I can search for graduation. What do we got here? Okay, cool. So we've got we can do a photo cake bundle with cookies. So if I do a graduation photo cake, there's 12 cookies, right? I can choose a cake. So size here, 1/4 half full. Let's do a full sheet. Looks best on the table. It's a big spread. So I can choose that. Again, I can make my selections here. Chocolate, filling, chocolate buttercream. Again, buttercream's required on the top because it's an edible image. So we can add that. Okay. Can choose school colors for decorations. Let's, where's my Noblesville Millers there, black and gold. Way to go, bub. In gold. And because there's an image there, we can add an image here. What do I have? I don't have one ready. Sorry, folks. It's going to be a picture of a picture on a cake. And then we'll add that to cart. Right? So we added cookies, we added a cake, and we added an image all in one product. What I'm also going to do here is our other grad bundle. Where'd that go? Oh, here we go. Graduation bundle. Or you said to do the, Heather, help me out. Premium bundle? Whatever, we're good? All right. So this one, again, we can choose a graduation cake. We'll do the Dr. Seuss inspired one. Let's do a half sheet for this one. Funfetti. I feel like funfetti would be Dr. Seuss's favorite cake flavor. And buttercream. You know what? Half sheet. Let's go ahead and do the full sheet. So we made all those selections very easily, one click. Switch to the full sheet without having to re-enter anything else. Nice little feature there. So now what's cool is this one bundle product. Not only can you scale the size of the cake that you want, but then I've got selections of cupcakes. Hey, do you want to accompany this with 1 dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen, or 4 dozen cupcakes? Right? How big do you want this to be? Instead of having to have what we used to have in the past, these would all be separate bundle products of here's your 1 dozen bundle, here's your 2 dozen bundle, here's your 3 dozen bundle, which is not fun to manage, not fun to browse through as a customer to order. Right. So just streamlining all of this, getting them graduation, bundle, how many people are coming, we're done. I'm going to do the 3 dozen and then make my selections here, chocolate, chocolate, and we'll do one in white. So then we've got white, chocolate, chocolate. Add that. School colors, let's go IU. Add to cart. Pretty cool stuff. Not going to go through the process of finishing the order and all that. So what's different in that? Obviously, the ever-growing sizes of the various dozen cupcake selections we could make within that is new. I didn't quite even show off all of that because then you can still have options if you have table liners, plates, silverware, stuff like that, that's school colored. You can throw those in there as well for additional upgrades. I mean, what we're trying to do here is grow your average ticket, right? And by making it real easy for them to make all the selections they need to do to just build that up and then one-stop shopping for all of it. So that's our second one. Third one is a wedding cake. We go back into the app to do that. Start a new order. Search myself. So this, I'm going to pick up just so I don't have to do a delivery and enter my address. This is going to be for May 21st, my anniversary. And I'm going to pick this up at 10 a.m. And I'm going to use our custom cake order here. See that? I'm going to build a custom cake. So I'm going to choose my first tier. It's going to be an 8-inch round. Frosting is going to be buttercream with white cake, buttercream icing all the way down. No decoration specific to that tier. I'm not ready to make all tier decorations yet, so I'm going to add that to order. Oh no, I made a mistake there. Excuse me. Let's go back to edit that. So now I'm going to add a tier before I add it to the order. So that was a 8-inch. So I'm going to add a 6-inch now. I'm going to copy all the same selections from the 8-inch tier. And then I'm going to create some decorations. These are all going to be more celebratory than anything, but whatever. We'll do some buttercream ruffles and we'll do white and purple. And that's going to go all the way down the cake. So then I will add that to order. And then I think about it and I'm like, man, that's an 8.6. I'd hate to run out of cake at my wedding. That's probably a bad omen for things. So let me take that 6-inch layer and let's go ahead and change that size to a 10-inch round. All the selections are preserved. And then we can actually slide that so it's over here. So 10, 8, update that from $60 to $90. Next. And then I'm going to go ahead and place that order. So with that, what we've got is, just changing the tiers on the fly. What's up, Heather?
To note too, you can go back in after you've placed that order and it is an order in your system and change those sizes in the same manner. So it doesn't have to be done in step one. You can go back and revisit the order and adjust size using that feature. Like if I call
brides never call back. Brides never call back to make changes to their order, so I don't know how much that would be used, really.
Ever.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you though for letting us. It's good to know. Good to know. I guess put it in our back pocket. Yes. Awesome. Thank you for that. Okay. So those are the three types of orders. If you got any questions now before we dig into kind of the guts of how all this all happens, please speak up. Happy to answer anything you might have. But I'm going to move to the guts of it. So here we are in our products area of the application. This used to have a lot more going on. It's actually got less, but does more, which is nice. So we've got our products list. Pretty standard. These are all the things you sell. We've got our categories. This is how you organize the products. Now we have templates, and I can't even remember what it used to be: custom, and then signature, and bundles, and groups. We had a lot, and it's all been parsed down. So now what we have are templates. You can see the types of templates we have. We've built these custom cakes, basic cupcakes, custom cake pops, custom cookies. Right? These are defined by the bakery for what you sell. If I click into custom cakes, I can see I've got rounds. So we've got it organized to say, hey, we want to sort these by shapes, right? And then these are the shapes we have: round, sheet, and square. I could very easily add what's popular, hexagons, and then that would show up here, right? And then from here we could add here, let's show what we have. So our rounds, we have our 8, our 10, our 6. We've got these handy little things here. It's like, man, that's probably a lot of work to do. It's not. Jared was kind enough to build a cake diagram builder, which builds these on the fly, which is very cool. I should have done a heart cake instead of hex, right? So let's say we've got a 7-inch heart, 2-layer. Look at that. Serves 2. You can choose your font, your colors, all that stuff. You can put a watermark on here. Bakery, pretty cool. Download and then upload that as a way to show off what you got. That's pretty slick. So enjoy that one. That one's free. Yeah, so what we can do with this is our 8-inch round, right? We name it, got a receipt name. How do we want to price this? I think price each tends to be what people do here. I mean, you can get into your per serving pricing and things like that for weddings, which could be its own template, right? Especially when we're talking about layers that are getting created. So each component, I feel like I should create this from scratch, because we prompt for these questions. Are you counting anything like layers? Yes, we are. Do you have a flavor, a filling, a frosting? And we can make those selections. So I'll go through that in a minute. But this is basically saying, hey, we're going to bake 3 layers, and that's going to create 3 layers. Sometimes people will tort that layer, and it'll be 2 baked layers that become 3 finished layers, where you can still present to the customer what you want your flavor selections to be. If you allow people to add layers on the fly, either through, when your bakery is accepting an order to build some sort of defined structure that they want, or even online, like, hey, I want this cake to be a little taller. Can I beef it up a little bit with an extra layer? Yeah, we can set that price for what an 8-inch round layer is going to cost. Servings, obviously, and then we can define flavors, fillings, and frostings to this. And then our layer and tier logic, do you allow multiple flavors per layer, side-by-side sheet cakes, or do you do it per tier, layer by layer of a 3-layer cake? And then do you allow the add layer, which would then activate that layer price? Decorations can be set here. Now, these decorations set are for the cake builder tool, which I'll dig into in a minute. You can either activate or deactivate that to allow individual decorations in the per tier of a tiered cake, or if they're only going to be for the entire cake. Up to you. And then usage. We're going to show you where this is actually used, right? So this is used on those Mother's Day cakes that I created. So, and then if I go to the sheets, you're going to see all of the graduation cakes I created. I was trying to keep this simple and segmented. Yeah, lots of tips, lots of rules, lots of validation. You can't, if flavors are required and you clear this out and you try to save it, we're not going to let you do that, right? So we're validating constantly. We're making sure we're eliminating the ways you can make mistakes just by overlooking things. So that's all there. Did I miss a question or chats here?
Cheyenne was asking about the hanging 0 that was required in Classic to make reporting work. The 0 in these are just an old habit of mine of adding a 0, but it is no longer required in the system.
Mine too. Now, for sorting purposes, I'm not sure how that shakes. Yeah, I still do. I haven't. I'll be honest. I haven't checked because I just do it out of 20 years of habit. So, apologies. Yeah, Yeah, sounds like we're good. Any questions? This makes sense. I know it's still dense and a lot to do, but definitely an improvement from the clicking back and forth. There was a lot of, hey, I've got to set this. Now I've got to go over here and build this, and then I've got to come back here and connect those together, and then apply it over here. So we're pretty excited about this. Here's our cake builder, which custom cakes are a part of. Decorations. Yeah. I mean, that's what we've been hard at work at. This is a massive mountain of work to get here. So,
Do you want to run through the cupcake bundle to show that we can bundle signature cupcakes in the order flow with minimum quantity and maximum selections?
the customer choice.
Correct.
Yeah. So let's go look at how it's built, and then we'll show how it orders, because both are kind of cool. Choice. So was it the?
It was. You can just yeah. That is it.
Yep. So this we have our sort of flavor profile cupcakes, right? Chocolate Dream, Chocolate Fudge, Vanilla Dream, Funfetti, Red Velvet, all of those that are both a preset flavor and frosting. So a defined, what we would call signature product. You can take all of those, bundle them together, and then say, hey, we can do a customer's choice of a dozen. Minimum type is 2, but the max you can choose is 6, right? So you got to get at least 2 of each flavor, but you can have up to 6 different ones. So if I go to order this, let's see here. Just going to throw it on an existing order so I don't have to start a new order. Choice. Here we go. This is pretty cool, right? So here's all the different types. Those images definitely weren't stolen from the internet, but I can choose those, right? And then a chocolate fudge, yes, and vanilla dream, and funfetti. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I can add another one here. And that gets me 4 yellow cupcake with fudge. I skipped the red velvet. Sorry, it's just not my bag. Cream cheese. And then I can add that to order here. Very flexible, pretty quick, pretty painless. You may notice you're seeing some softer corners, some light highlighting of things. We're working on evolving our design language to just be easier to consume and understand. That work is ongoing. That never stops. Yeah, this is what we got here. Any questions from anybody? Had a lot of coffee today, so I'm ready to gab.
Do we want to talk about the conversion process if people do want to opt in to going to version 2? It's not something that's required. Vinny also asked, do we need to enter our custom products from scratch or will it import?
Yeah, so this is a rebuild. This is you'll want to come in here and build out your basically. So we put this behind a feature flag. We didn't want to drop this on anyone who's actively using BakeSmart right now to walk in next day and be like, whoa, everything changed. We did have some updates that we released to this that weren't specific to the change in structure, just everyday enhancements and quality of life improvements we made to the application, which we're always going to do. But yes, if you want to move from the way your cakes are structured now to this, which we recommend doing, especially because this is the development path we're going to be on now, and sort of assumptions we're going to be making as we make improvements, right? Let us know. We will get that flipped. We will take all of your current custom products. They will get built out as templates, and then all of your signature products will also be rebuilt. It will your existing future orders will be maintained; those will be fine. There's no ill effects on that. Everything will still exist. Reporting will still net out correct, so that's all good there. But yeah, we'll come through this. Or move through this process. Your flavors, fillings, and frostings are all the same, so it's just applying them in a new way here. Yeah, so the custom components, Vinny, the templates and the components will be rebuilt, but then we're just going to hook them right into the signature products.
Random question, still limited to a year out with the calendar. Is it hard to remember to add wedding cakes month after they're ordered? So what are we looking at there for the 365 limit?
Yeah, I have Amy, I have something I can turn on for you that'll push that out until we have a proper weddings module. I'll get that turned on.
Amy, are you in Illinois or Pennsylvania? We don't know which Amy. Hi, Amy. Yes. All right, Jared won that one. He was right. Way to go, Jared.
Hey. Can't lose them all.
Coffee.
T-Ray
Free coffee
Bear
from
was
Jared at the office today.
50-50.
No, there's a third in California.
Oh, that's right.
And a fourth in Iowa, actually. That's okay. Got it. We made some assumptions there. We will also.
Cheyenne is with Merritt's.
Got it.
Alex.
We'll note that.
Yep. Noted. And yes, Alex, with V2, you can change the size of the cake during the order process, after the order process. Just swap it out and hit apply.
Let's change size. Yeah, there's a change size setting. So that can be done when using the cake builder. And then as long it does require that, so now everything is a signature product with available components that product can be applied to, whether it's an 8-inch round, 9-inch round, 10-inch round, whatever. So as long as that component exists and is attached to that signature product, it can be changed to that. It can't be changed to so my Mother's Day cakes were all rounds. I can't switch that size to a sheet if I haven't included the sheets in that signature product. But yes, it can be with one click. It can be done.
Mike Snad is asking if you can limit certain flavors to shapes, like heart-shaped cakes to certain flavors, and you can do that at the component level.
You sure can. So here, I know some people get weird about their smaller 6-inch round cakes. Am I still sharing? I am.
Yes.
So we can get down to flavor. So these are the flavors for the 6-inch round. They're like, hey man, we're not doing marble and red velvet. For whatever reason we got there. I'm still trying to figure out how to bake bread. But you can disable them for various sizes within, so for various components.
Amy commented on that she likes the new print button when you generate order form. It saves a lot of time.
That's great.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
When building out the back end, do we have active access to back end to ensure everything uploaded correctly before turning the switch on to live? Like as you make changes, are they immediately, or when you hit save, does it upload to the change that you made? Currently, when you hit save, it's immediately uploaded in the system, and in the POS, you would have to do the, update POS to changes.
Products.
For your products.
Oh, wait, can you hear me? Sorry, I didn't realize. I thought we were
What's up,
throwing
Alex?
stuff
Hey,
in.
Hi, Alex.
I thought we were throwing stuff in the chat. I thought we were like muted. Sorry, it's more of like a nuanced thing to understand the transition. To clarify my question, like I'm guessing how it works to go to V2 is you guys are taking a copy of our existing settings. It exists in a backend, so to speak. And then when we say, hey, okay, let's do it, then it gets switched on from our database. Like what I'm saying is I want to make sure that we have the capability to kind of like review the stuff that gets like imported to make sure the settings are correct before we go on. Does that make sense if I'm asking that right?
Yeah. So like I guess it's like, is there a setup mode?
Or like a staging mode. I understand your question. I don't believe at this time that it is.
Okay.
It is a we grab all the products that we from the back end out of the database that we see that we need to be aware of, flip the switch, make those changes, and then that's it. I don't know. We might be able to figure something out around that. I mean, I get the trepidation because it is a switch.
We have a staging server.
Yeah, right. I'll have to get back to you on the feasibility on that one, Alex.
All right. No
But right now it is not. It is we make the change and then we deal with the products that need dealt with. Yep.
Yeah, I gotcha. And then a piggyback on that, if I'm understanding correctly, like this V2 is now you're saying like this is the path you're going down. So like future updates to V2, they won't require like exporting out products, importing them back in, or is that going to be as we go from like V2 to whatever the naming convention is to V3? Are we going to have to do that every time like you guys upgrade it?
Ideally, this is the architecture change, right?
Okay.
We made a big architecture change which requires this. I don't see us changing the underlying architecture again. So that's why it's a switch to allow for a lot of those things that Mike showed or demoed. So I don't anticipate having to do something like this again.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
To pick up on what Mike Snat is asking, and then we'll get to Cheyenne's question, Mike Snat asked if we can run V2 on a different computer that's not attached to the system to train debug before we maybe under a fake server. I don't think that that's an option currently, but...
Well, here's the thing, though. You can run it on they run in parallel, right? So your V1 products aren't going anywhere, right? Like they still exist in the system. So every we flip the switch to switch you to V2, all your V1 is still there. It still exists. All you really have to manually change is any custom product that you want to sell individually needs to be set up as a signature product now, right? But we can roll through your product list and convert from V1 to V2 just by linking into those new components. Well, everything else continues to operate the way it does today and functions just fine and gets reported on fine. Like nothing's being made obsolete here, right? We're not. It all still works, whether you're on V1 or have made the move to V2. They're both going to work in V2, but obviously we want to be actively moving it over so that you can actively manage and make edits to it.
Yeah. And that's where we'll help anybody who's currently operating and running their bakery on V1. When you're ready to move to V2, you're going to get a hold of Heather and our team here, and we're going to help you spotlight what those products are, walk through and help you physically actually make those changes and taking those custom products into Signature. And we're going to hold your hand through it. We're not going to just say, oh, good luck.
So
it is,
if
like
you
Mike
missed-
said, under a...
Yeah. If you missed our weekly
Yeah.
chats, you know where to find me. We can hang out again while we go through this process.
And then Cheyenne, do you want to get to her question about lists?
Yeah, so Cheyenne was asking about options being exclusive to signature products, and the terminology here, options list are actually exclusive to standard products. So your options list are going to be, is it sliced or not sliced, or if you're adding or removing ingredients for a savory product like a deli, or if you're adding something to a standard product like seeds or no seeds for, a poppy seed bun. And so those options lists are going to be exclusive to standard products. However, when you build a bundle, you do have the opportunity to add an options list to a bundle that could also hold signature products. And so there's a lot of flexibility in the way you play with that. So you can create an options list that could pertain to your signature, but you cannot apply it directly to the signature product. I hope that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah, and customizations inside of the system for custom products are called selection lists. And that is a change that we made when we moved from Classic to the new platform, was we decoupled the idea of an option that a customer gets at a finished product at time of sale. That's an option. To Heather's point, do you want your bread sliced or unsliced? Do you want it bagged or not bagged? Do you want tomatoes on your sandwich or not? A selection is something that you're selling your customer as a customization during the sales process. You haven't made the product yet. So you get to select,
Shelly, I
do you
love
want
you.
chocolate cake
That
or
was the
vanilla
best
cake?
explanation I have got for the terminology on that this entire time. I do appreciate it. That's amazing.
No problem.
So just to clarify that I understood that fully, on the selections, will that, if somebody has made a selection on a signature product, will that automatically generate a decorated ticket, like a deco ticket?
Well, if a component is involved, right, so which it would need to be to have a selection list assigned to it, right?
Right.
So if I'm going to custom cakes here and I've got my round 8-inch, what we see here, no, where are you at? Where'd it go? I thought I saw a, basically, yes, if it's got a component, it's going to create a deco ticket.
That is
Okay.
correct.
Let me just leave it there.
Automatically.
I saw a
Okay.
or no, it was included board slip. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
A separate thing.
Okay.
It was decorated. That
Okay,
wasn't a
that kind
decoration.
of answers. Christian and I have been arguing, I say arguing, Christian and I have been discussing back and forth on what needs to be standard and what needs to be signature, and we've had very different understandings of the terminology. We're both vocab grammar nerds, and so we've been kind of struggling with the terminology piece of like what determines that, what does the ticket outcome look like? And so we've kind of had we've hit a roadblock, I guess, in kind of sorting our products because of that, but that makes more sense. And so, okay, cool.
Well,
No,
there's flexibility. I mean, so I will say, we have a customer that we had to use signature products so he could sell hot dogs, right? Because of the unique, he sells brown and red hot dogs. Didn't know that was a thing. I prefer pink, I think, but he wanted to do it in specific quantities and in variations and tied into bundles. And so we had to run it through signature products to meet some quantity criteria, I think.
Reporting, quantity for reporting criteria.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a tool. It's a tool, and there's a lot of ways to use it. And I wouldn't say there's any wrong way if it gets you where you need to go,
Okay.
So Yeah, there's just a lot of flexibility within the signature products at this point.
And to put another layer on that, Cheyenne, and we talked about this the other day, we are in development on being able to add choice of inscription to standard products. I don't know that we've made a
Yes.
decision yet on whether or not that will create a decoration ticket. I think that that's still up for debate. So any input that anyone has on whether or not a decoration ticket should be made for an inscription on a standard product like a key lime pie that you're writing on, like that would be helpful.
For our particular business, that would create a nightmare of a production issue, because my sales staff within the stores are trained to write on cakes. They're trained to write on my standard product. And we literally took that away from the decorators, so the decorators could do what they're meant to do, which is decorate cakes, not write inscriptions on pie.
Perfect.
And so for us, it would just create a lot of clutter if every single inscription created a decorating ticket. It's going to create a lot of clutter here at the fort.
Yeah, I think that this actually goes, Amy, to what you just wrote. I don't use decoration tickets. We just use the order form. I am on a crusade to get all bakeries that use BakeSmart to use the deco ticket instead of the order form. And this is why. Because we have lots of customers that just find it easier to print the order form for whatever reason and not use the deco ticket. However, in the new BakeSmart, there are a lot of functions like the image. If somebody gives you an inspiration image or even a photo art image that goes on a product and the decorator needs to confirm that, your packers need to confirm that at time of final packaging. You have everything that's followed that cake through production, the person who's filling the cake, the crumb coater, the finishing decorator. If it's all one person at your bakery, great. If it's not all one person at your bakery, even more important that finishing decorator sees, oh, this is the picture. It prints right on that deco ticket. It also for you're probably printing multiple order tickets if somebody ordered a custom cake or something that has to move through production and a standard product like hot dog buns or donuts or whatever. You're somehow keeping track of that order in multiple places. So really, that is the design behind the deco ticket, that there is not order tickets that show pricing, that show all kinds of things that you really don't want your decorators focused on. You want your decorators just to have what they need and everything they need. You're not going to get that in an order ticket. So happy to talk individually with any bakery that wants to talk about their specific production process and workflow and how to best use the tools in BakeSmart. But yeah, thank you for listening to my TED Talk on that. I've gone to a few different bakeries that use order tickets, and it really drives me crazy because I'm like, you're missing all of the, it doesn't drive me crazy. I just want to make sure you all understand the tools that you could be using and the benefits you get from using the deco ticket.
To that end, a follow-up that you made me think of. First of all, great TED Talk. Second of all, it's the same rule applies where everything that's in the matrix can get a deco ticket. So we transitioned when we went to the cloud. We made sure that like cookies and cupcakes went into the matrix. And I don't know if I'm using matrix properly anymore. I don't know if it's changed. But the same thing applies. As long as it's in the matrix, it'll show up on the deco ticket, right?
Yeah. So now, if it originates, if it's got a template or a component attached to it from a template, right? So, I'm pointing at the wrong thing. Not that you can see what I'm pointing at anyway. But these templates will generate a deco ticket.
Okay.
Now, the underlying product, when we get down to like those Mother's Day cakes, right? The garden cake. If we go to settings, it does say print deco ticket. You can turn that off. For like hot dogs, the guy making hot dogs, like he doesn't need a deco ticket for his hot dogs, right? But so it does get down to this level setting. That is on by default, though. I didn't have to check this. All signature products print deco tickets by default.
Okay, then follow-up question. That's fine because that's how we're operating now. We're assigning deco tickets. But then the follow-up question is, right now, we're in a little bit of a transition where we were taking inspiration images putting them into Slack, and then the decorators have an iPad. But we want to transition into everything's going to go in BakeSmart from inspo images that we get via text and via email. And then we're giving the decorators their own sign-on to be able to just operate directly in BakeSmart. However, the one thing that you guys fix is when we print deco ticket or print order form in Classic, it used to automatically check the box. And now in this one, you have to manually check the box. Now, it's obviously not in the end of the world, but the level where we're getting to is when we pull up our transaction lists for each day to do quality control, we rely on the fact of like, okay, was a deco ticket printed? And if there's like 25 orders for that day, to have to go manually and be like, oh, did we? Is like not that great. So just like the literal, once a deco ticket is printed, like in Classic, it would automatically check. Like, did that get squared away? Because that's like a super helpful function.
Yeah, the problem with that is we don't know if the browser actually printed the deco ticket, right? So in FileMaker, we can tell if it ran through the print, process. But in the browser, now, I think that I don't know. If you print in a batch, like bulk printing from the order list, that it's still going to ask you if they printed, but it's going to mark them all as you go. I don't know what people think of, we could mark it as printed when you hit that print button, but again, we have no idea, like we can't tell if it actually did print like we used to be able to tell from FileMaker. So that's why it's that way, I guess.
All right, I understand the limitations of it. And then secondly, this is like a question to the other bakeries. We transitioned to deco tickets on like clipboards per Shelley and Heather, which was a good innovation, but we still use the order forms for receipts that travel with the cake from stacking, filling, and icing. I'm just curious what everyone else uses, because we did want to move away from having pricing on the cake, because the decorators are going into like, oh, this girl only paid like 90 for this, and they took it upon themselves to like not marry the inspiration image. And I know that's more of an us issue, but anyway, what do other bakeries use for like a fill, crumb coat, stack portion of like tracking that? I'm just kind of curious of that as well.
Yeah, before anybody else answers, that's not just a you problem, Alex. That happens in every bakery, whether leadership knows it or not. A decorator is choosing how much effort to put in based on the price that was charged, which is a big reason pricing isn't on a deco ticket, because it's not their business. It's the business of leadership to decide what's charged and not. So anybody else to share?
Yeah, cool. Release an option for removing financial. Yeah, that would be great, because it's fun. Having the receipt is fine. If we removed the price on there, it would solve it 100%. Because now, they're not looking mostly at the receipt. It's only for a portion, so they don't quite remember. So it solved it mostly. And then the other thing, this is just a wish list thing, no pressure at all, but we do want to use more and more leverage BakeSmart. That's why we're moving from Slack into giving the girls a sign-on to be able to operate solely in there. Is there a potential conversation about being able to assign orders directly in BakeSmart, or does that already exist and I have no idea?
Assign orders to a decorator?
Yeah, like the item tracker we have now, basically.
Yeah, so rebuilding item tracker is on our queue to...
It's also on your wish list.
Yes, correct.
Great.
But it is slated to be worked on soon.
Yeah, it's
That's
actually
fine. As long as it's
from
on-
wish list to plan. It's on
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, as long as it's on your two's wish list agenda, it'll get done eventually. I'm not too worried about it. I just wanted to make sure that it had made it onto the agenda.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then one last thing, is there a move to get customers from Classic into Cloud? I know originally it was only customers, no order history, which is fine. We've been able to work around it, but not having existing customers It's just another thing of like having to re-enter all of them into the system of people who've done that. So existing customers into cloud would be helpful.
We have that.
So, well, yes, we can do that on a fresh account. I can talk to you about doing that one off, or if anybody else wants to do that. At this point, we can now import customers' order history, all that sort of thing from Classic. But once we've started using it, we may end up with some overlap. So, Alex, I can talk to you. We can see what we can do about getting those customers in. Yeah.
Okay.
If any,
Cool.
I mean, if anybody else wants to have that conversation too, we can do that. We got to make sure. In Classic, you could make as many John Smith accounts as you wanted. In Cloud, you cannot. They have to have a unique email or phone number. So we may run into some issues there, but it's something we can do.
Okay, cool.
That was a great round of questions. You guys keep them coming.
Yes, Stephanie says that they also use the order form for everything, not deco tickets. So yeah, maybe I stand correct. I mean, I don't know. I would love to keep hearing from users here to see what they why they do that. I'm not fully sure, Stephanie, why you're because you do lose functionality of like pictures, following through with it, and I guess the pricing is the only thing. And there's just it's just formatted different. So I get it. Your decorators also sell for you, which is there a way to limit one phone number in customer system? Sales enter new customers who are not new with same phone number.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. You're right. The phone number is not unique. Our decision on phone number, so email is unique. Our decision on phone number was like families, or everybody knows that. This is the way it works in my house. Is Jackie takes care of everything, and then I just go do the dumb stuff, and I show up, and all they're asking me the phone number, but all I have is Jackie's, right? So we thought we could have multiple phone numbers on different name accounts. I don't know, though. If that's a big problem for everyone, where we're having duplicate accounts, we could start matching on a few other things to see.
I definitely know.
Mike, they should. Sorry, go ahead, Heather.
I know that the reason why we are pushing for email specifically is because when you have an email on file for a customer, when you place an order in-app or in e-commerce, they're going to get a order confirmation form with all of their information on it automatically when they place that order, which is why we stuck to email being singular to the person. Also identifying that workplaces share a common phone number, households share a common phone number, husbands and wives share a common phone number, whereas an email address is specific to the person. So.
Yeah, and Mike, you're right. I think a solve for that operationally inside of bakeries is to train your sales team to ask for a phone number when they're entering a new order and not a last name or first name or whatever. It does help streamline your database of customers for sure.
Amy says she also gets a ton of population when she searches for John Smith. It doesn't just pull up John and Smith, it pulls up every variation. And I think Christine had mentioned that when you run a search by name, it's looking at the first 4 letters of the first and the first 4 letters of the last name. So if you have someone named Johnson and you start to type in John, Mary Johnson will also populate because JOHN is the first 4 of her last name.
John Smith, and I search by John or Smith, and populates a ton of results.
Yeah, we can definitely have some more conversations around that. Open to feedback from anybody on what they're looking for, what is preferable. But are there any other questions that we have around V2 or what was demonstrated today? Any comments or concerns about that? The move to V2 has already started. Mike, if you want to reach out to Mike Clemens, we can have a conversation around that. It happens for you.
Yeah, for sure. Amy, yeah, we just came across that. We'll get that addressed.
Yep.
So that's the nice thing is you don't have to opt into V2 immediately. It's something that we can roll out when you're ready, but knowing that most of our direction in the company is going to be relying on that V2 platform, it is one of those things that we hope to get everybody over to, but it's not one of those need to do it right now type of things. Eventually. None for you,
No,
Vinny.
you shouldn't see any difference.
Yeah.
Vinny asked, is there any difference in the point of sale order taking and V2? And no,
Yeah,
it
no
doesn't.
difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just in the app.
Cool. So Jared just mentioned something about, opening questions to you all. Would you find it helpful to just have a get-together user sort of conversation to bring up other things? I know that you reach out one-off, and I talk to a lot of you through the onboarding process and in the transition to V2. Let us know. We would love to know how we can streamline your feedback and get you answers and results on things that you have questions or concerns with.
Yeah, and definitely we're working on, I know Mike Snat had requested like a roundtable together, and we are totally on board because it serves us so well to hear from you guys. Heather, Ari, and I used to run bakeries for decades, and we transitioned from running our own shops to working with the team at BakeSmart. So the more and more we get away from day-to-day operations, we kind of, not that we get soft, because I think once you run a bakery, it will ever be in your DNA forever. It just has that beautiful stamp on us all. But I do think that there is so much benefit hearing from you guys in a group setting, especially because what one person does, the other person might have already solved for, or vice versa. And then for us to be able to.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Okay,
and
great.
I'm on the listening in on the webinar.
Okay. Lindsay, where are you from?
Cold Spring Bakery.
Great. Cold Spring Bakery. Yes, perfect. Great. I will expect something soon. Expect something very soon. An invite to just a roundtable coffee chat about some different topics that you can come to if you find value in it. And if you don't, you will not be offended. We will invite you to the next. And then someday, maybe there's a topic you care about.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, for sure.
Sign me up for that.
Okay.
You let me know. I'll come. I have no shortage of stuff, as you guys know.
Great.
Alex, you?
Awesome.
Great.
All right. Mike, you ready to wrap
Good
it?
stuff. Yeah. Thanks, everybody. I feel like hope it was worth your time. We enjoyed it. We'll see you